Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Reval Lynx channel. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And on your screen, you see a lot of people because today I have been joined by plenty of people. If you're a Reval Lynx fan, you'll know at least three of the people here. So to introduce them from start to bottom, we got Likeitmore, No Info, Excitable, KreLLeR, and Chi. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Waiting for our match against Reval.
Oh, wonderful. Really good to hear. So, for everybody at home, the things we're going to be doing today, talking about last week's games, then we're going to make a tier list of the CWL. So, I know a few people in here have a few hotly contested picks who they think is going to win it or not really going to perform to the standards. So, of course, we need to talk about last week. And I know a few of you guys actually played us on those games and excitable. I see your name isn't here, but I know you were on Twisted Glory. How was the game for you? Or well, the game you didn't. Well, the game you got to watch at least.
What are you on about?
I thought you played, man.
No,
Sorry, I
we were,
forgot that your team was first place.
yeah, of course we were, bro. Of course.
How was the season then?
We were on holiday, so we didn't see any games. Actually, I'm just hoping they were bangers.
Yeah. Then the question is, then the season going forward, do you feel prepared for it? Is there anything you need to change about the team?
I think we haven't practiced in like 2 weeks, so no, not really.
What are you even meant to say to that? Is CWL a joke to you? Hello.
Oh my god! Oh my, we put so much effort into improving as a team. We just holiday season came up, but we're
Right.
back, kind of, most of us. And surely we'll have time to fix it, right?
Yeah, I know Jordy, your top laner, came back a few days ago, so that should be pretty good. What about the Revel lot? Of course, we got KreLLeR, Chi, and No Info. How has Revel Lynx been doing? You guys been doing your research on the other teams?
We have been watching games. We also have been screaming, so I think we should be good to go.
Is there any champions that you think are going to be coming out, especially for you guys, or are you just going to keep to the meta?
Well, I guess we'll see. Can't really give that away.
I am just happy I didn't have to play in Zerna meta. Thank God.
Yeah. I mean, I can't blame you there. And of course, for the last person, Likeitmore, how is Good Chili Fries feeling? Because I know a lot of people behind the scenes at CWL casters kind of put you guys as maybe the favorites to win this all.
Yeah, I think Good Chili Fries is feeling pretty good. Quick disclaimer, I'm not on the roster, I'm on Chi FBR, but I think Good Chili Fries is one of the favorites. We're gonna get to it later. Chi FBR, on the other hand, I think we are a bit underrated. I think the fact that we've had to play with subs for like 2 months in a row has put us maybe under the radar a bit. Once we get our full roster back together, and it's gonna happen next week, I think. Then I think we're gonna be like picking up the slack a little bit.
I mean, makes very much sense. You haven't been able to be with your full team. You can't be at your full strength. You still became first place in your division, so that's still something you should be proud of. But we should be going over to our next segment where we're going to be talking about what we thought was going to happen in the last week. Because, of course, now we know who won and who lost, but we're going to have to see what everybody decided. Because I know for me, I only got one right out of all four of them. So as we head over towards there, how did you guys feel about it? Do you guys get most of yours correct?
I mean, I can start. So it started off pretty well, right? We did it even with the scorelines. I don't think we're gonna see them today. What scorelines we predicted, but I got like the first series like perfect, and then I was like, okay, I have a good read on it, and then everything went. There's an Estonian saying behind the. What's the word? I can't figure it out. Everything went bad. Let's just say it like that.
Everything went bad. Damn.
Yeah.
I know at least in the first game when I was doing Give Money versus the Diamond Flyers or the Diamond Fighters, I completely got that wrong. I thought the Diamond Fighters were going to be winning that out, but I actually lost 2-1. So if we can take a look at those scores, you can see exactly where I went wrong there. But a lot of you guys got quite a few right at the end. I was the only one to get Emir's right. The rest of them I got completely wrong. Likeitmore, how did you feel about your picks and bans?
So actually the second series I predicted right as well, I think. So wait, did I predict Reunited? Okay, I guess I did. Then I guess the second series I predicted wrong as well, even though I think I predicted Europe. So The third series is where, like, I predicted correctly and the Rockies would win, but I did think, I did think that Grief Tsunami would give up more like of a fight, but I guess it went a bit wrong.
I mean, makes complete sense there. What about no info? What did you think?
I was just mentioning podcast. I think you have the wrong screen on stream, by the way.
Yeah.
I have the stream open. It still shows us sitting behind the table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
we'll try and get that sorted.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the games, though?
I mean, it's similarly to like it. I was like, okay, Kim Manning, nice, they got through. I was expecting that. I put in Europe won. I was like, okay, we're mopping off. Then I saw probably the biggest gap I have ever seen in CWL or any other tournament history. I mean, Grief got. I think my little brother could play better, honestly. And then it just went downhill.
I couldn't agree with you more. For everybody who wasn't able to watch that game, Arrakis, in the nicest way, dumpstered them in the 2-0 series. You said before, at like 20-minute, 25-minute wins, a very dominant victory. So that's going to be super interesting when we get into our predictions later on. If maybe we think Arrakis should have been that first seed coming out of their groups. But of course, going forward, KreLLeR, what were your opinions on all of these games?
I mean, I'm pretty happy with my predictions. Got everything right except for Reunion, but that could have gone either way. It was a close series, 2-1 to Europe.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't agree with you more. Game pretty close between them. What about Chi? How are you feeling?
I think there's a few surprises for me personally in terms of information that I wasn't necessarily aware of, like Grief Tsunami changing roster, having an upgrade. I think Give Money and the Rockies were probably underrated as second seeds. I think many people thought Grief would win this one. And then in the UNE game against Emrys, like Emrys brought in players from their main team, swapped out players from academy team, and UNE didn't. I heard like didn't play for a couple of weeks leading into playoffs. So I got this one wrong. Otherwise, I think pretty happy with the predictions and quite expected results.
I mean, very much so. There are a few games a little bit closer than a lot of us were expecting. Like I could see all of you guys thinking Give Money was going to win, and they did win out in a very close 2-1 series. I will put my hands up and say I got that one wrong. But of course, excitable. We don't see yours here, but what were you thinking about these 4 games?
Well, I don't know anything about Give Money or Diamond Fighters, to be honest. I think I saw Give Money's opening match, and are they the team with Scrubbax?
Gravex, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, they look good in the opening match. I didn't really see them after that. Europe vs Reunion, we played against Europe once, and they seemed like a good team, so probably would have given it to them. I don't know anything about Arrakis, but I know Grief, like, they came into this not taking it too seriously. They did a miracle run, but they aren't like a scrimming team. They literally only showed up to play. So I probably would have put my money on the other team, even though I would have hoped for Grief to win.
Fair enough. What was the main reason for Grief?
What do you mean?
Why do you want them to win?
Well, I'm kind of friends with a few of the players. I mean, low key, maybe not. They might deny the charges.
Well, what do you mean low key? You're either friends or not, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think so. I think I'm friends with the mid laner. That's a banter with a few of the other players.
We're gonna have to figure that out afterwards. See if you guys are actually proper friends. You might want to put them a little bit higher on if we do another.
That's the real storyline.
I mean, if they were in, that'd be perfect.
UNE vs Emrys, I would have assumed Emrys would maybe win, but I was rooting for UNE because they're obviously second place in our group. So if they get battered, it looks bad for us. And Emrys is the team that we just came from, so don't really want them to win.
Yeah, it's quite hard. How was the actual division for you? Do you think you're in one of the harder ones, or do you think yours was slightly easier than the rest?
I think maybe it's a little bit easier, especially around like the lower end of the table. We're kind of like but like people kept FFing games against us, so we didn't get the high stats that like other people got in spreadsheets. Like our mid laner had like the second most kills of anyone in the tournament, but we played 4 less games than every other team. So it was I was kind of upset that a lot of people just like FF'd against us, all 2 teams.
And
but
that's
I mean,
a big thing about a lot of these teams, isn't it? That you can be in a league that is meant to be the same with Diamond versus Masters, But then when you think about it, all these teams, you don't really know them. A lot of people are getting new into this competitive scene, so they're not as difficult as it can be.
Yeah, I mean us as well. Like this is our first time in a league like this. We got a team together just before it, so I also understand why we weren't highly rated on the previous tier list. You know, no one knows us, but it's okay. I'm not taking it personally much.
Yeah, sounds good. Does anybody
yeah.
else have any last statements before we get ourselves into the tier list of the games coming up?
Yeah, EUNE Endurance, you let me down. I am severely disappointed.
Damn. How come?
That's one.
What was the main reason? What did you think that the team could have done better in their game?
So I actually talked about it on another I guess podcast you could call it, or like a video, where I thought that basically the way that the Endurance wins is by Doodles just being better than the enemy top laner and playing off of that. And then Doodles got solo killed, I think, like 4 times during that series. So I think you know where I'm pointing my finger.
Apparently, Doodles didn't play for a couple of weeks, so that's why
Ah,
it
yeah,
also fell apart, because we were all looking forward to the Estonian derby, like playing against them and then playing against us. It would have been 2 Estonian teams going up against each other, but they lost the first round, so we never got that, which is probably why many of us are disappointed as well.
I mean, isn't that the worst part? Because I remember you guys behind the scenes always talking about how many Estonian players there truly is in the CWL. And if we had to actually change the regionals, I feel like we could just make an Estonian league with the amount of players we have here.
Yeah, so I think there were 3 full Estonian teams. There were Reval Lynx, Aeoni Endurance, and actually in our group, another one called Kentucky Lions that people don't know about. They're also full Estonians. They didn't make it out of groups, unfortunately. But so I think plus me, and is there any other Estonians in CWL? Wait, let me think.
Not this
Currently,
season.
no. Yeah, not this season, right? There used to be. Last season there was, right?
Yeah.
So you could do you could actually do a small tournament with Estonian players in CWL.
Yeah, it's super fun to see. The big thing about CWL is I've been here for 3-4 plus years almost at this point, seeing how the league has grown. This is the first time we've gone above 24 teams. I believe there was 40 to maybe even 48 at this point. That's why we had 4 different categories and 4, well, Division 1 champions so far. So it's going to be super exciting to see them going up against each other, as I do believe we will be going over to the next segment. We're going to be talking about which teams we think are going to be the cream of the crop. And of course, Likeitmore, how are you feeling? Is there any team you think is better than the rest, or do you think that everybody's on the same par?
So if I'm thinking about it, just like from the point blank, the first team that comes to my mind is Chili Fries, who are, in my opinion, one of the favorites to win it all. I think the main reason for it is because they have a lot of solid and good players that know how to win games. I don't think they have that much of an X factor about them. They are just solid, and I think solid gets you at least top 2. But I would not be 100% surprised. It's not like a massive failure if they don't win it. I just think that they are like the clear favorites currently because they're just so stable and so so methodical with how to play.
And the one thing I'm most curious about is you say they are clearly the best, and then you say you're not surprised if they come second. Do you
But
think
also
there's a
say clear
team that?
favorites.
Yeah, are you sure that like what's the things that stop you from saying they're 100% gonna win?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think so. If I take them versus let's say Reval Lynx, who are my top 2 strongest teams going in, I think the thing is that Price is a lot more stable, and I think they tend to play cleaner games. But you have to have a player who is a bit flippy to really give you the edge when it comes down to let's say a game 5 series, right? You need someone who really pops off, someone who takes you over the edge, who drags you over the edge when the game is maybe not going as well as you'd want it to.
I mean, makes perfect sense. I instantly think about humanoid versus Caps, the difference in those two type of players. Caps is somebody who can have that massive moment where he carries the game and takes you across the finish line. Compared to humanoid, incredible player, does what he does amazingly, but just doesn't have the it factor. And I'm a Fnatic fan, so that really does hurt to say. But is there
Yeah.
anything else before we get over to the next person?
No, I think I said everything.
Cool. Good to hear. No info. How are we feeling? Any teams you think are going to be at the top?
No, I think like it made pretty good arguments why the teams he thinks he will be at the top. There's some dark horses as we have even in the list a deer for them, right? It comes down to like I think kind of experience and also people being able to like keep a calm mind because I think a lot of teams is just they lose and they lose their head. So and you never know about that from the outside. So we got to see who actually has the mental to be champions this season.
I mean, that is a massive thing. It's a very long season. I believe it's been about 10 weeks from the start to now, and we still have a couple more weeks to go of these playoffs. If you aren't fully mentally there for it, because this isn't their full time job, it's going to be very difficult to keep up with it. But the main question I have for you, though, is do you think any of the second seeded teams can win here?
Give money, I think.
Give money. Why do you think they're going to win?
I think they. I don't think they are gonna win, but I think they can win. They were really solid in Group D. I think they would have got in first in like at least two of the other groups. But they were for sure the most solid team other than us in Group D.
Fair enough. I can't blame you there. Is there any other teams that you think could be a dark horse here, or do you think that Give Money's the only one that can really make an upset?
I think Emrys has gotten much stronger, like in the past few weeks. They can make lower bracket run,
Yeah.
like for sure.
I mean, makes a lot of sense. A lot of these teams been really building themselves up. Emirates, remember when they barely got themselves that second seed, so close to that first. So, of course, very close to getting there. Now, of course, going next to Excitable. I know you're a TG fan, surprisingly being on that team. Do you
Hello.
think you're going to win it, or do you think that
I think we
you
could.
guys are just contenders?
I think no. I mean, you don't come into this kind of tournament and just, oh, I hope we do well, guys. Nah. We want to win, obviously. I think people don't know us very well, which I'm also kind of happy about. I want people to like know us because we've been in the league for 3 years and they know what we play and how we play and stuff. But I mean, we've had decent results in scrims and stuff against some of the teams. Like we've played some of the teams, so I think we line up pretty well actually. But I also think the other teams look good as well. So I think personally, I think it's a really close top like cut. Like it's a lot closer than I think people assuming when they say like Good Chili Fries are clearly the favorites. For instance, they lost the game to Emrys I mean, they almost lost 2 games to Emrys. Again, we've played against them a few times. I don't think they're they're a good team, but I don't think they're far above everyone else. Like the first guy said, respectfully, and I think the top cut is actually like I think it could be anyone's game personally.
Okay. It's great to know you saying everybody's amazing. Where are you putting yourselves? Where's TG going?
First, bro, obviously.
First. All right. All right. Well,
Where else?
we'll see what
Ooh.
everybody else thinks. See if
Yeah.
everybody agrees with you over there. Of course,
I
Chi.
don't think they will.
Chi, how we doing? Where do you think TG's going?
Before I talk about TG, actually, I wanted to mention something. So last split, Freaky Legends played as well. Shipex was the main carry for them, and obviously we played last season. We were able to win against them. This season, like Likeitmore saying, they're the clear favorites. So opinions differ, obviously, but something I wanted to say in regards to this split is teams are much closer, I think, at the top, because last season when we played, they had one style, we could play multiple styles, and then they had to pretty much bring out like pocket picks, play really off meta to actually take games off of us. So last season I would have said, okay, we're clear favorites. This season I wouldn't say any team is really clear favorite. I think every single team has their strengths and weaknesses, and it really just comes down to how teams pretty much learn, improve, adjust over playoffs, how they figure out the meta, how they prepare for certain teams, because like regular season playing best of twos is different in best of threes, and when you get to the final with best of five, the teams that only really play, let's say, one style, okay, they can be good at that, but can they, as Noinfo said, maintain the mental throughout the series, throughout the playoffs? Can they make adjustments? Can they prepare against certain teams, figure out what they're doing? So I think from there, like I'm not even saying about ourselves necessarily, but there could be dark horses that come in that we don't really expect or haven't seen in CWL, and they can be preparing against teams, having their own read on the meta. They can do something that either us or like Chili Fries or another team ain't prepared for, and then can catch someone like off guard. So that's why I think this season there's no real clear favorite, and it really just comes down to like the meta read, the preparation, and who just improves uh, throughout playoffs the quickest. In TG's case, I would personally put them contenders. I have watched a couple of their games, and before coming in today, I actually thought about the top four teams and what like pro team I would kind of compare them to. And TG to me was or at least he's playing similar to like 2017, 2018 Longju or Ging Zone, where they're playing aggressive, but sometimes too aggressive. Like their macro is still good. They can be strong. Uh, I don't know if I put them finalist. It's between contenders and finalists. Like they're still strong, but I feel like they have certain weaknesses that can be exploited as well. For me, contenders. I'll see what others have to say.
What weaknesses do you think they are? Just out of curiosity.
I think, okay, without throwing any, well, I think over aggression is one, and I think there's certain like draft and macro things that can be exploited. I think they're not
Yeah,
as
okay.
clean as they could be. Like I feel like they're one of the better macro teams in the league, but I still feel like certain things aren't as clean as they could be, even for like our level. So I think over aggression and certain things in like draft and macro that can be exploited.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Well,
Write that
damn.
down.
Yeah, write that down, get yourself sorted. And I'm kind of curious because it feels like everybody's had TG as a contender this whole way through. Everybody said they've been a team that's been able to perform, but can they perform to the level of maybe a good Chili Fries? We'll have to see on the day if they get themselves to the finalists. So if our producer man could put TG in towards the contenders, unless anyone has a disagreement with that. And I believe we can most likely put good Chili Fries into the finalists, as we've heard plenty today about how that team is good enough minimum to get to that final, but do they have enough to get to the finish line? People aren't so sure. So now the real question comes down to the three teams that have just got themselves through, the second division teams, the Emirates, the Give Money, and of course Europe as well. Excitable, I got to ask you, do you think any of these three teams are dark horses, or do you think they should just be completely low expectations?
Well, the only teams I like know anything about really are like Emrys somewhat because I used to play for them,
Okay, how
and
do you think they're going to do then?
I think they could do well. I think they are also like killable, you know.
Just kill them, get them out.
No, I mean I used to play with them, so I know like they're beatable. Okay, let me just. But I'm sure like they look like they've improved a lot, so I don't know where their like potential leaves them now. Because I mean they took a game, almost 2 games off Chile Friday. But then again, they did lose that game in a in a horrific way. So I don't know. I don't think we'll see them in the finals, but I think
If
they'll
you had to put
definitely
'em.
like be a dark horse. I'd say.
Dark horse, interesting. How are we feeling about this no info? Do you agree?
Uh, I don't know. Like these three teams are just. It's kind of hard to make like good observation on them because I'm just gonna be honest. Like the Rockies grief, like that didn't give me any info. I've seen a Rockies a lot of in like looking for scrim and stuff, so they do practice a lot, and they seem pretty solid. But like when I was looking at the OPGs and stuff, I think Emir is from those three at least might be the best team for me because as much as I understood, they have like they brought in their main team who play like somewhat of a high level, so I'm expecting a lot from them. And they did have a pretty decent showing against Uni Endurance. So like for me, Emery's would be the ones that would go to the highest tier, whether it would be like dark horses or contenders.
I.
Which
What do you
teams
think,
are you
Trevor?
talking about?
About Emrys? Do you think they deserve to be dark horses or contenders? That's the real question we're trying to fight for here.
I would say dark horses. Just looking at their games, they don't have much macro. They are just yesterday we saw, or
Just
2 days
hand
ago. What
stiff.
was it? Yeah, just skill checking all the time. Just not really playing for any objectives. Just trying to just hand stiff all enemies.
Wow, makes sense. How are you feeling about this, Chi? Do you agree with this?
I think I would, to an extent, agree with KreLLeR here, and because so Emrys could be a dark horse. Like in that sense, I agree with No Info. They could be a dark horse, especially bringing in the main players. Like they're stronger, obviously, than the academy. From what I have seen, like watching gameplay, obviously, I don't play in the league, so they have like a player perspective. I'm more like watching videos and watching replays. So for me, Emrys is more about, as KreLLeR said, like skill checking most of the time. I don't think their like macro is that strong. Arrakis actually surprised me. So when I look at teams, obviously, like you look at the stomp and you're like, okay, how did they get stomped? It's like, okay, obvious team difference. But sometimes you can have like really sloppy games. Like, okay, you have a stronger team, but they're still gonna give away a lot of kills. They're gonna make mistakes. They're gonna overextend. Maybe stay too long, give away certain kills or certain objectives. I didn't really see that from them. Like when they got the lead, they closed it out cleanly. And at our level, it's not that common to see because players are still gonna like positive tilt. They're gonna take over aggressive plays. Like they're gonna drag out the game a little longer than it's supposed to go. So in that sense, Arrakis actually surprised me a lot. Uh, Personally, like Arrakis and Emrys both could go in dark horses, but for different reasons. Like Emrys, to me, like skill checking, okay, if they can do that, if their main roster is good, could even upset us, right? Arrakis, for different reasons, for the macro reason, could dark horse certain teams, like even against FBR, like the match they have coming up. I'm really curious to see how that goes. Personally, as I said, yeah, both could go into dark horses.
I couldn't agree with you more. I believe both of those teams have their reasons for being in there. You did a great job of explaining that to us. So if we could put them in there in just a second. And there's one big team still left personally for me. I feel like Reval Lynx, of course, being on the channel here, it's a team that we could either talk about now or talk about last. And I feel like we should leave them to last because I feel like a couple of you guys have some really strong opinions on them. But the question I have to have is for Likeitmore, how are you feeling like Gucci is going to be doing?
So, as I said, like I remember giving a like winners interview in the beginning of the splits where we 2-0'd. I think it was Peachfish, and I said like everything's been going like great. We've been winning scrims. Everything's going like pretty good, and that made me like a bit scared because uh, every time that I've had like, oh, we're doing really really good, then we like get pretty far, and then we figure out that there's like a massive mistake in our gameplay, and it's too late to fix it. I'm a bit afraid of that happening right now, because if I'm thinking about it, everyone's rating us low. Even though I don't see like a real reason for it, I think everyone just hasn't seen us play in a long while, and the last game that is left in their brain is us almost not finishing against diving fighters. So I think everyone I think we fell down like 2 tiers in the tier lists off of that one game. So I do think I think we're at least contenders. I do believe that we can make it to the finals. Obviously, I do think we can win. How can you play otherwise? The thing is, I'm not sure about how prepared we are as of right now. We need to do a lot of work, and I think Arrakis will already be a tough opponent, especially given the showing that they had. So I think I'm really excited for Arrakis because they are a good macro team. So that means it's not like when we lost to Europe, as an example, we got hands checked a lot, so we lost. And then against the Arrakis, it should be the other way around, where they might just macro gap us. So I'm really excited to see what our mistakes are, and if we are as strong as we ourselves think we are, or if everyone's just correct and we ask.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I feel like your team is so close to reaching the pinnacle. And the big issue said about is what a lot of teams face from esports to actual real life games of if you never lose a game, you don't know what to fix. And then when you lose a game, you know how to fix it. Faker's very good at doing that and knowing when they lose, how to bounce back from it. And you've never had that situation. And the big question I have is, do you believe you deserve to be in that contender slot? Do you think the Arrakis game is going to be super close? Because for me personally, when I look at all of these round two games, I think Arrakis versus you guys is going to be the closest game.
Yeah, I do think we are in the contenders tier. But the thing is that I think it's gonna be a really close series. Purely because we have been lacking a bit in the practice department lately. So we might be getting caught off guard when it comes to Sunday. But I think Arrakis is a really good measuring pole for how good are we, how good is Arrakis, because both teams are supposed to be pretty good. So whoever wins, or even if it's a stomp one-sided, that shows that the other team was so the team that stomps or the team that wins, I think, is at least a contender.
Completely won't agree with you more. I believe with everything you said that we probably can put you into that contenders role. I feel like anybody who gets first position in their group deserves to at least be in the top two divisions, but we'll have to see come to Reval Lynx later. Now, we're going to get down to two teams who we have to debate if they're dark horses or low expectations. Because there's been a lot of fighting about if Give Money in Europe. Of course, they deserve to be here, but do they really have what it takes to get themselves towards that position? To maybe upset a team, maybe get themselves in towards that round three. Because remember, at least now every single team has that lower bracket run, and there's a lot of teams to say it's the magical place. If you're able to win one series, read the next one, it's been super close. You really get more confident as a team altogether. So, KreLLeR, what are we thinking? Do you think Europe or Give Money deserves to be a dark horse, or do you think they should be in low expectations?
To be honest, I think Europe is in the lower expectations, and Give Money is at least dark horse.
How come?
And just the matchups they have going forward. Just I think Europe will just lose to Twisted Glory, and I don't know who they're facing in the lower round, but that just might mean they will go out.
Yeah. Okay, then Excitable, do you agree with this? Do you think you're going to absolutely stomp them, or do you think it's going to be a little
No,
bit
I
closer?
don't think so. I honestly, like I said earlier, I think all the top good teams are pretty close. I think Europe are a pretty competent team. I'm not going into this oh, we're gonna stomp, because I think we should if we don't take it seriously, we'll lose. Personally, I think they're a good team.
I will say,
Hmm?
I
Go
will
on.
say that it's really hard to put any team in low expectations because
Yep.
everyone is so close to at least being dark horses.
Guys, you're being too nice here. You need to be like, you know what? I think my team's going to win. Yeah, low expectations. I wanted more confidence for you guys. You should believe in your teams and believe that you will get
Yeah,
yourselves
but
towards the finals.
you also gotta have respect. Every team who's made it here is competent enough, right? The low expectation teams, they lost. The only
Exactly.
low expectations now for the casters really is Zathdos.
I mean, that's what I'm here for. I can talk about it and never have to show it with my gameplay. It's the best part about it.
Perfect.
Exactly.
I think the only way to fix this tier list is to put Reval last. I think that will fix it.
How come?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm not gonna repeat what I said in my last video, but I think that got the message across.
Let's be honest, we're just happy to be in playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay. We need to we need to dig in and figure out why.
No. Reval Lynx is
What
definitely
happened?
finalist, but I think we need some spiciness in this tier list. We need to flame a bit.
Nah. Okay, we can flame in a second. I know Reval Lynx, you guys have been telling me about how you guys won the SLE. If you want to flame one thing, what's better, SLE or CWL gameplay wise?
I mean, we didn't win SLE, but CWL is definitely better.
Okay,
Yeah.
whoever gave that info lied to me. So Revel, good job on that. You guys seemed a lot cooler if you just kept it that way. But okay, you want to flame someone. Who's the worst team left?
Emrys. Sorry, we said that. That's weird.
To be
Anyone
honest,
else?
FBR.
to be honest, I do now that I like listen to Chains talk and then I quickly went over the game that the Mirrors played. I forgot how badly their bot lane plays. I think their bot lane is literally the worst bot lane left.
Ever
and
to
they're gonna
exist in the world, right?
yeah, then they're gonna get
Able to
absolutely
exist in season 9 of CWL top 8.
Yeah, my
But,
nan could beat them.
yeah, but luckily for them, they can practice in loser bracket after this week. So
Damn. See, that's what we wanted more, guys. You guys are just too polite. You gotta be
Okay,
like,
okay.
nah, they're trash.
You want some flame? You want some flame, boys?
Yeah.
You ready? So before we made this team, I was on Emrys with a team, and we were like undefeatable. We were like winning every game. But our mid laner, phew, he was like a piece of paper, bro. If you ganked him, he'd just fall over. And it was like some of the games we played, like the whole team was ahead, and he'd be like 1-8, being like, "It's okay, guys, because I'm dying and it's worth, right? You guys are getting things on the other side of the map." And he was shit. He was fucking. So I think if Emrys don't drop their mid laner, I can't see them make it through.
How
Perfect.
polite. Wonderful. That's I feel like everybody in Twitch chat, hope you really did enjoy that part. So if we want to finish off this tier list, I feel like Reval Lynx has to be in that contender role, got first place in their division, even with you guys trolling a bit. I'm gonna put them there by myself on my own authority, which is 0. With Europe and Give Money, this is the hard part, right? Because I want to put somebody in low expectations, but I don't feel like anyone deserves to be low expectations. So what we're going to do is, to make this a little bit more spicy, we have to put one at the bottom. So we're going to go through all of you. You're either going to have to say Europe or Give Money to be in that low expectation spot. So first of all, Likeitmore, who you putting in low expectations?
All right. So I have a real good tactic here,
Okay.
which is I don't think Europe is bad. I think they are flippy as all hell. So I'm gonna put them low expectations because if they drop out 0-2 both rounds, I would not be surprised. But at the same time, I do believe that they can even make it to the finals. So if I put them low expectations, they don't have pressure on them, so they're gonna
Yeah,
win.
but they're against us, bro. No.
No expectations.
Give
They
them expectations.
they're gonna
Shouldn't-
go 0-2 against Twisted Glory, and because I said that, they're gonna go 2-0. Put them low.
Based.
Sorry, man, you're not a caster. The caster casting doesn't
Ah.
really work for you.
Damn.
Maybe you can try it next time. No info. Who? Tell me.
who are we putting into low expectations?
Yep. What team?
Um,
Let's move Emrys,
when
to be honest.
I would
That's my
move-
I
vote.
mean, we
I'm
can.
just saying.
I would
That's
move
my
Everis. I would move Everis, and also I was really big on Europe when we started CBL. I was like, oh, they're a good team. They seem really good on paper. And then they played 1-2 against Reunion, who's was not the best showing because like it was us, it was Kim Money, and then it was like 4 points or whatever. So them struggling against Reunion doesn't really give me a lot of expectations, which is kind of what the tier is about, right?
Mhm.
And so I would put Emiris and Europe in the low expectations actually.
Well, I feel like we might have a few different opinions on their Emrys going down towards that low expectations. Because when you're mechanically that good, but don't have a brain to back it up, as a lot of what you guys have been saying, maybe they might turn up in CWL. Maybe they are just mechanically that good. But of course,
Did you see-
excitable. Who's at the bottom?
It's Emrys. Like, it has to be. I mean, I don't like. I rate Europe, but people don't. So that's fine. But like watching Emrys versus fucking. Sorry, I can't stop swearing. Versus
okay.
Chili Fries. Like Emrys had such a lead. They were like 20 kills to 3. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but they just couldn't close out. They kept going Baron and dying, and then they do it again and again, and it was like. Yeah, I don't know. I put them dark horses out of respect, but I don't think they are actually thinking about it.
Well, we might have to change this up if everybody's agreeing with you here. KreLLeR, do you agree?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
just yeah. They I mean they somehow won one game against Fries, but to be honest, I think Fries is overrated as well. So
Now that is something we need to talk about.
I
Why
kind of
they
agree as
overrated?
well.
How come?
I mean they just won everything, and that's why people think they are good. But they, if you
I
look
mean,
at
it
the
does
group,
help.
if
you
you
know,
look at
if
the
you
group,
win.
it's just really the easiest group.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Excitable, what about you? You seem to be agreeing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't like Chili Fries are obviously a good team, but I don't think they're like miles ahead of everyone else, like everyone is saying. I think they're being overrated here a little bit. Not that they're bad, they're just being overrated, like where they are. They're a good team.
We got to have one in the finalist slot, guys. We can't just have everybody in contenders and dark horses.
Twisted Glory in finals, then okay.
All right, calm down, calm down. I'm going to say the good Chili Fries have deserved to be at the top for now, but 100% when we do this next week, we can bump them down a little bit.
No, I
But of
think they
course,
do as well.
finishing this off, Chi, who we feeling is low expectations?
I feel like there's two teams for me that make an argument. Like at first I was like, okay, maybe we don't need to use the tier at all. We put the remaining teams into the higher tiers as well, because as many people have been saying and reiterating, it's like everyone's quite close. You may have finalist contenders and dark horses. Like everyone kind of can win, and they're made this far for a reason. If we, or rather you, make us put two, or rather one or two teams, then I have, yeah. So two teams that I first look at is Europe and Emirates, and I'll give you my reason. So when I look at playoffs, I look at like series. I look at best of threes. I look at best of fives. You, even if you drop to the lower bracket, you're still gonna have to like start winning series. And going flippy teams that rely on like skill checking, individual skill, they don't really make usually that far. Like they can win a game, they can win a series, but they're not gonna win multiple series. They're not gonna take many games off of like the cleaner teams. So Emirates and Europe are like the two teams that I think are the most coin flippy in that sense. They can like take games off of better teams, so to speak. But I don't think they're gonna be consistent enough to actually make it all the way. So in my case, I would put them two in low expectations.
I think that's a very valid point, and from what I'm hearing from everybody, I feel like Emrys doesn't deserve to be a dark horse anymore. Yes, they can be if they can shore themselves up and play a little bit more macro than just mechanical gods. So I believe Emrys should be putting down towards that low expectations with Europe down there as well. And that leaves only one person left in that dark horse slot, and that is Give Money. So that's the real question. Does Give Money deserve to be higher? Clearly, you guys think so, but nobody's really said much about them. Seems to be a team that people just think is okay at the game.
I
Is
think
it
it's
too
better
much?
if no one says anything, because I'm pretty sure all of Reval Lynx's players will say they're above us. So I think just leave them there and move on. Yeah, guys.
Yeah, do we just not add Revel Links? But
They might
guys,
be higher than Twisted Glory, to be honest.
How come?
I mean, we look at other people that came out of Twisted Glory's group and they got absolutely smashed. So
Yeah, that's not a good look for us.
and they went 1-1 against both of them, I'm pretty sure. So
no, we didn't even play against Grief actually. We went 1-1 with EU
okay.
and
Yeah.
some other team I forgot.
I mean,
Well, they went 1-1 against you and me, and they got smashed by Emrys, and we have Emrys in low expectations. So
Yeah, okay, but that's like this rock paper scissors thing is because also like in scrims we lost to Europe and we beat Chili Fries. So does that make Europe the best team?
I think so. Yeah.
I think
It's the only logical solution, really, isn't it?
I think the rock paper scissors analogy is actually amazing here, mostly because a lot of what you guys have been saying is Emrys is this team that's mechanically gifted, and then I remember a few people saying about TG, a team that's mechanically really good with some of their decision making, but very aggressive as a team. So then, if you have a team that's aggressive back, they can slightly get behind, and it just goes further and further for them attacking more. So maybe Emrys versus TG is a little bit of a weird matchup where it's harder compared to TG, which has enough mechanical skill and aggression to beat a Chili Fries, but can still drop games towards those lower teams. And because of that, I feel like TG deserve to be in that contender slot, maybe below Gucci for sure, nearer towards those dark horses. But so far, I feel like Good Chili Fries have to be at the top, TG in that contender slot. And of course, Reval Lynx, the team we haven't really had to talk about, as they just feel simply just a contender role, if you guys agree. I feel like they deserve to be there. Aren't really a dark horse. They're too good for that, and they're too established, it feels, but aren't a Good Chili Fries. Haven't really shown enough to say, well, they're the best.
I mean, like, sure, looking at the results we had in groups and how we played in groups, right? But I think one of the things that somebody mentioned when I read about it was, I think it was Likeitmore, he said on the Gucci tier list that the meta was really bad for us. Like, unironically bad. We're not that kind of team that plays those kind of meta comps that we've had for the last months, but it's getting like more and more onto us. And I think like we are far better than everyone else when it is our meta. Most of the teams have a clear weakness. Of course, I'm not gonna say every weakness, but you know, if we get solo killed by Chogats in some teams, by Emerald Chogats, then I think that's a pretty clear weakness. And I think overall just the meta is going to us, and I actually think like we are maybe slightly weaker than Fries right now, but I also think that Fries had pretty noobs in their group, so I don't know.
I mean, that's going to be really exciting to see with Good Chili Fries. They are going to be going against Give Money next time. Of course, Dark Horse versus finalist. And Give Money, a lot of people have said they clearly deserve to be in the Dark Horse category, can be contenders if they work something out. And if Good Chili Fries isn't as good as you guys say, that should be a pretty close series. So I definitely think we can come back to this. But so far, I feel like Reval Lynx, we can still just put in that contenders role. And before we head over towards the any other segment, if anybody else has one final piece they want to say to move something around, say it now, or you have to wait till next week.
I mean, move us to finalist and
I think so too.
Guys, you can't
And,
talk about your own
it's-
team and say, "Hey,
Oh,
put it to the
it's not my
finalists."
team, guys. It's not my team. I think Reval Lynx is finalist.
Oh, yeah, really? Wow. What channel are we on again?
That may or may not like impact me. I think they're still finalists. You know, wink, wink.
I mean, like More said in Gucci's tier list that we are top 2, so it's not based on this channel.
Yeah, but maybe it's because I knew I wouldn't be invited otherwise.
Okay.
There was some talk about copyright strikes, I think.
Yes.
I'm
Don't worry
seeing a
about
lot of things in chat though. People aren't really happy with how we've done this tier list, as we only
I
have
mean-
one finalist.
I can tell you how I would make the tier list actually.
Okay.
I would put Arrakis and us in finalist. Prize and Give Money in contenders. FBR in Dark Horse with Twisted Glory, and Low Expectations would stay the same.
Anybody else got any other opinions?
Yeah, KreLLeR is overrated.
Yeah, disgusting.
Um,
Disgusting take, actually. You should
I
don't invite
think
him again, I think.
so. Okay. All right. I need to clear something up, guys. Okay. The reason why I think we're only contenders tier is because, based on the current brackets, it's pretty probable that us and Reval Lynx will meet each other. And I don't think, obviously, I'm the best player in the world, right? Except when it comes to Rocky. Reval Lynx is millionaire, who will absolutely curb stomp me because I have mental block. So I think if Reval Lynx wasn't in this tournament, I would win.
Just lane swap. ADC.
Bro! Damn. Wait, I
Go
need to
top
do so.
lane.
I need to message some people. Wait.
You get yourself sorted on that thing. But to be honest, you know what? I don't care who's in chat. I'm pretty happy with how this finalist and contenders dark horses and low
It's a one-man
expectations went.
finals.
Damn right. Good Chili Fries in
Yeah.
there. You guys believe they're going to win. Doesn't matter. Doesn't care. And respectable for everybody here who is Reval Lynx fans to not put them straight into finalists. Maybe we should do that for them. But you know what? We're not that nice. So we will be going over towards our next segment. Of course, being what we think is going to be happening in towards those next games, as I do believe that before this, one of us did say who we think is going to be winning them. So we're going to have to see if our finalists of Good Chili Fries, what everybody agrees with, as they are going to be the first game against Give Money. We'll have to see where everybody puts, because I know who I put, and I feel like it should be pretty obvious on that forefront. So we get ourselves over towards that in just a second. Here we go. Got it up. And Likeitmore, how were you feeling about these 4 games?
Oh, so I did them in the span of like 20 seconds. I think some of these are pretty straightforward. I think Twisted Glory. I don't know if I'm supposed to speak about like what I predicted specifically right now, but
I mean, you can. It's okay.
all
Tell
right.
me what you
So
think.
I think Price is gonna beat Give Money, but I think it's a close series. I think Give Money is better than people think. I think Twisted Glory is gonna beat Europe purely because Europe will probably coin flip some random fights and lose.
I feel like
Again,
that's the most coin flip
again,
games.
the more I predict against them, the less pressure they have, right? So
Stop.
excitable, be ready.
No, I respect them. I think they're a good team. I'm not taking it easy.
Yeah,
You
even
should see him
though
in like a call with just me. He just insults me 24/7. Nothing nice comes out of him.
I think the third series is the series that everyone like is the closest. Even for me, it was pretty hard to like. Well, it wasn't hard because I obviously predicted myself, right? But if I'm being like unbiased, I think it's a really close series. It's really hard to predict. I still went obviously our team. Obviously, we're gonna Goomba stomp them, and I think Reval is just gonna beat Embrace like 2-0.
Yeah, fair enough. What about you, No Info? What are you feeling?
I mean, I can also go over the things that I said. I think for some extent I kind of agree with like it. The first game I put, I'm gonna take the scores as well because I put Gucci the Fries 2-1 against Game Money. I think Gucci will definitely win the series, but I think Game Money has the chance to make like an upset game. Or I'm gonna be honest, if Gucci the Fries makes a mistake, and which they are prone to do with their flipping, then it could be a 2-1 for Game Money. And should be. I think we can also go.
Yo, no
Next
info. What's that about?
No, we'll talk about this later.
That's a weird one. I think there's just something on my screen here. I must.
No, let's think about it later. What do you think? Why do you think Gucci Fresh will win? You believe in
Yeah.
Chipix?
Well, let's move on.
Yeah, you believe in Chipix?
Yeah, I believe in. I mean, until I saw his game versus Emrys, and then I believe in him a little bit less. But yeah, no, I think Chili Fries are a good team. I don't know much about Give Money. People are rating them. I haven't seen them play. I put 2-1 to Chili Fries because they're like, I mean, they didn't lose in their group until they did, and they didn't they like come finals last time or something. Am I like making things up?
Do you know what? I'm not even going to tell you. I'll let you make things up at this point.
Oh yeah, fuck it. I mean, they've won like 7 TWLs in a row, right? So they're probably gonna win this game.
Yeah, fair enough. One thing I find very interesting about all of these is nobody has actually, well, there's only 2 people that have fully agreed, but the most important thing is the last game, Reval versus Emrys, it's the only game that everybody thinks Reval Lynx is going to win. Almost feels like we're on their channel, huh? But going forward, KreLLeR, what are we thinking?
Which game are we talking about? Everything?
I mean, yep, everything. How are you feeling about all 4
Well,
games?
I did predict. I see me and Jay predicted the same thing about Fries versus Good Give Money. To be honest, I think it's like a very flippy match. It can go either way. It's just I've seen what Give Money can play, and I think they are a good match against Fries. So that's why I have them taking it 2-1. Maybe Jay can give his opinion why he thinks that.
Do you want to talk about the other teams first, and then I give my opinions on all the 4 as well?
I mean, yeah, we can do that if you like.
KreLLeR, you want to talk about the other matchups first, or?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Twisted Glory versus Europe, I think is 2-0 Twisted Glory. Not gonna be that close if they show up, of course. Us versus Emrys is gonna also be one-sided if we show up, of course. Price, I mean, FBR versus Arrakis, I don't know how good FBR will be because they have not played with the roster for like a month. Like if like
Yeah,
it
but
more...
we have the Estonian jungle goated Rust this week, bro.
I
How
mean,
can we
they're
lose?
goated. Clearly.
Oh, then
I
I would
mean,
like
we
to-
saw what happened last time, so I think Arrakis will take this one.
Ah, true. Fuck. Oh, sorry.
I mean, at this point, like, swear as much as you want. I mean,
Ayo?
Yeah.
I'm joking, guys. Please, please. All right. I want to keep this job that I'm getting paid nothing for. All right. I kind of like CWL. Let's keep it alive. But Chi, finishing us off on being the last person to talk about your predictions. How are we thinking?
First of all, I actually expected Likeitmore to pick Emrys just for the content over us.
Can we quickly change mine right
Yeah,
now?
yeah. Kotkas, really quick, please. Just
That was
I'll
that
change
was
my
the
mind.
first one I expected. and then on the Kuchi server, I said they're gonna kick me from the server after they see my takes. So like the picks as well. Let me explain. The reason I picked those, so for example, give money over fries. I still think fries are the favorite to win over them, but give money to me has what it takes to upset. So when I was listening to Ace's takes and Likeitmore's takes and Chipex's takes as well, they were like, okay, we didn't really, for example, win our group that convincingly, and they have been the team that obviously game through the group as probably like the strongest team based on results. And then in CWL Cafe, I said as well, if anything I have learned in amateur leagues is that people don't really look at gameplay, they'll look at results more often than not. And when when I hear them talk about our tiebreaker against Game Money, it was like, okay, it was like a 40-minute banger. Uh, they only really looked at like the post lobby because it wasn't really a banger. Like there were quite a few kills, or rather few kills. So it was more like a controlled game, really slow game. Nobody really giving either team like easy opportunities for kills or fights. So it was more like using vision pockets, going for picks, going for split push. So it was really like a macro controlled game. And talking to Lee Scrub from Game Money, like they have been doing quite good prep against Fries as well, like trying to figure out how they play, what their like strengths are, how they can exploit that. So even though I still think Fries is favored in that matchup to win like 2-1, I wanted to go the opposite way and actually pick Game Money to win this one 2-1 because I actually think Game Money is really underrated. Like I think they have been like they have beat some strong teams outside of CWL, and there's a few things I don't think other teams are really doing gameplay wise that they are doing. Like even us, like when I was preparing for the games, like watching the replays back, there's a certain things like even we don't do that kind of even caught me like off guard at that level. So I think they can definitely like on a good day they can take the series off of Fries. I think the other ones, Twisted Glory, like Europe is pretty going flippy as I said. Twisted Glory seems to be the better team, better macro. Even though at times over aggressive, I think like if they go fire against fire, like the macro and kind of the setup wise, they're gonna edge out and still win this quite convincingly. Third one, FBR against Iraqi. So that's that's a tough one in the sense that we haven't really seen what FBR can really do. Like as someone mentioned, like they haven't really played with the full roster. Idras was subbing in as jungle. Like he was kind of hard carrying two of the games, and then the team wasn't really on the same page to like cleanly close out games. And seeing Iraqis being like really clean against Grief, even though like a weaker team, I think this is going to be really close, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Arrakis wins this one simply because like the cleanliness of their games, and if they pick good fights or if they have like good fight selection, then FBR might fall short. If FBR shows up and pretty much like proves that they're contenders, then that can go their way. But I'm really curious to see this matchup personally. Uh, Last one, Revel. So obviously I have to kind of pick my own team and be confident in my own team, my own players.
Tad biased.
Yeah, of course biased. So like as I said, like Emery's, I feel like they play too skill checky. I think like SLE, going back to that, like a lot of people want to compare our iterations of the team, like last split when we won with Doodles, the SLE when we won like regular season but fell off in playoffs. I feel like those three teams or those three iterations are very different. Like first one in SLE, we kind of played to our strengths. We had certain like very obvious weaknesses that we couldn't fix, and then we kind of fell short because just playing to our strengths didn't really work in the end, and like the weaknesses were a little too much, so we couldn't go all the way. And with Doodles, we kind of shifted the core and started, at least in my case, like certain people. So I'm drifting off a little bit into like philosophy perhaps, but certain people, like the way they problem solve is that they start from like they start from what can go wrong. So what I try to do with the Reval Lynx team after SLE was like, okay, if we can do something really well, what can go wrong? And then I started focusing not on what we were doing well, but I started focusing on what our weaknesses were and like what could actually go wrong so we could like prevent that. And Doodles coming into the team, Rocky coming into the team, we became like fundamentally more sound, we became more versatile. And I think a lot of people see like this iteration or like this split without Doodles as a weaker version. I feel like people don't really watch our gameplay because you can put Doodles into Uni and he's not gonna solo carry the games. So in our case, like we enabled him to be the carry. Like you can put him in a different team and he's not gonna do as well as he did on our team because we basically built a system. Everyone knew fundamentally what they had to do, and then we kind of like dominated, let's say, last split. So this split, people are still filling the roles they need to be filling. Like we don't have like a single hyper carry like Shipex, or we don't have certain flashy plays like or really aggressive plays like TG and so forth. They're still like really good, but I feel like what makes us stronger and why I feel like I don't want to like get ahead of myself and say like, okay, we're gonna win or gonna be finalists or whatnot, because we still need to like improve over the course of the playoffs. But I think a lot of people don't do the fundamentals and the versatility compared to other teams, and that comes from like watching gameplay and analyzing. Because going back to, for example, the Game Money and the Revel Lynx tiebreaker, then I feel like compared to last season, like the tiebreaker we played was higher quality gameplay than any game last split.
Good
So,
points. You make excellent points.
but yeah, that's my
Counter
rant
argument.
over.
Counter argument. I'm better.
Please,
Oh,
no more counter arguments. But that was
I
enough,
love
my
it.
thing. That
He
was enough.
talks for 5 minutes out of his heart about how his team's doing amazing, and you're just like, tough, I'm better.
Basically.
Fucking hell, bro.
I mean, you got to prove
You
it. If
can.
your team's I just say, hey,
I
man,
need-
it's time.
I need to create some content so that when we meet Revel, it's hyped. You know.
Oh, don't worry. I can make some stuff up on cast. I got you.
Perfect. Make stuff. Just make shit up. Okay. Perfect.
Quiet facts guy, vibes guy is talking.
We will.
Yo,
talk
can
about
anyone
that.
remind me what this guy just said? Like the whole thing.
Anyway, continuing on. You
Thanks,
know
everyone.
what? We'll see how much you're paying attention and see how much you've been paying attention against the team you're going against, Excitable. How are you feeling? Do you think it? Because I said it was going to be very close a lot of the time. What do you think you guys need to do to make sure that you guys get the victory against Europe?
Practice. I think if we were to play the game 2 weeks ago before we went away, I don't think we'd be struggling. But because we did just take a holiday and someone's still AFK from our team, it's a bit hard to get good practice in. But I think if we're able to get the practice in before the game, I think we'll be fine. It's just, yeah, being able to actually fucking play. I mean, freaking play.
Damn, that is why we're in this league. Hard to play the game, except for me. I'm the madman who doesn't even play League anymore. I've demoted from Masters to Diamond for just not playing. But anyway, enough about me. About you guys. It's more important. Likeitmore. How are we feeling about good Chi versus FBR? Do you feel like that one's going to be a pretty close game, or Gucci versus Arc? Do you feel like that's going to be a close game? Do you think there's anything you need to change?
Mm,
You can't just say
mm,
nah.
No, I'm just trying to figure out something really content to say when I'm given the stage. Wait.
Okay, sorry, I'll re-say it just so we can get the clip for you.
All right, perfect.
Likeitmore, how are you feeling today? FBR versus Arc is going to be the next game coming up. Do you feel like you're going to win? How are you feeling?
I feel like Arrakis, even though they might be a solid macro team, I think we are just like 5 fakers in our team. Even
Wow.
though one of them is subbed out for Idrash right now, who is like, let's
So
face it,
you're
Lalo Bob.
washed. So you're washed.
Why did you ruin the clip, man?
man?
You ruined the clip. No, anyways, I think I like got my thoughts across earlier. I think it's really, really close. I have to pick us, obviously, but yeah, it's gonna be a hard one.
Well, now that we have 2 of the teams out of the way, we have to talk about, the good old Reval Lynx, the ones that nobody decided is going to lose. So if they do, I'm putting up against you guys on, I don't know what I'm going to do, but there'll be something. So let's talk about this a little bit more. No info. How are we feeling? Do you feel like it's as clean cut as it's saying below? Or do you think there's a little bit of a chance that you guys could lose?
Well, actually, I put the other games above me duo. So I think Europe will duo Twisted Glory and Arrakis will duo Gucci Fries. But for us,
Crazy.
I actually thought like Emirates might be able to take a game off. It's simply because of, like Chase said, they're pretty skill check heavy. And if you have a bad day or you just come into the games and you're like, oh yeah, we're because we're kind of being told like we're always a bit better than Emirates, right? So we're gonna coming into maybe a bit lazy, and I think Emirates is a team that if you're gonna be lazy against them, they're gonna do you because their top and mid is really good. Others I can't speak about sadly, but I think just from like top mid impact, it could definitely just take a game out of us if we're too sleepy.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. And of course, we need to go towards your AD carry afterwards, KreLLeR. Feel the exact same way?
Just need to tell the team to not sleep and drink some coffee or something to wake up, and we will be fine.
I mean, very simple, isn't it? Just play the game like you're meant to play the game and you will win. And then, of course, Chi, heard a lot about you beforehand. Any other points, or is it mostly just everything you stated before?
Can you remind me what you said before?
I think we're gonna 2-0 them.
Wonderful. That's more like it. That's what
Perfect.
we want to hear onto this. But I believe that should be mostly it for what we think about the playoff round 2 predictions. Coming towards the end of this, the main thing I want to ask you guys is, first of all, what team you want, that you think is going to win this all, and how you guys have been feeling about the CWL, because, of course, this is new for a few of you guys and old for a lot of you guys as well. So going from the start to the bottom, KreLLeR, come on, tell me about the CWL. Tell me who's winning it.
We are winning it, but that doesn't
It's
matter.
fine to say yourself.
I just want to face Likeitmore's teams, so we can just say for sure that we're better.
Short and simple. How about you, Likeitmore?
I mean, I was gonna say Reval is gonna win, but after that statement, I think they're gonna go 0-2 against Emrys, go into losers bracket, win one, and then lose again, and then we are gonna just win it all.
Yep. Okay. No info.
I mean, similarly to KreLLeR, I would love to face Likey's team, but sadly we're not going to be in the lower bracket anytime, so I don't think that's happening. It's going to be either us or Gucci Fries, and if Chipex just runs it down like last time, then we're going to get them.
Man, Shipex feels like the star boy, doesn't it? Especially
He
around
is,
Logic.
he is.
He's like the star boy of the league. Like, I don't want to
Oh
class him as
my
a faker.
God.
I don't want to, because faker deserves more than you, Shipex.
No,
As I
if you
know
enable
CWL
Chipex,
fucking
Chipex
teaser.
can like 1v9. I think he's like the KreLLeR is more versatile, but I think Chipex, if you give him the right tools, he can just 1v9 every team in the league. But he just sometimes
Okay.
runs it down randomly. And
Shipex, you'll make a team, you and me, huh? Well, we'll get you on the broadcast for the last time, even if you don't get yourselves up towards that finals. But finishing this off, Chi, what about you?
You know, we have Reval Lynx players, myself here. We have Excitable from Twisted Glory. But I think the real finals is gonna be Kuchile Fries against Q Money. Whoever is gonna win that is gonna win the whole thing, and neither of us really has a chance.
Damn. Amen. Amen. That's what
I
I'm feeling.
I don't think so.
Excitable.
But
I-
no, I don't think.
Tell me who you think's going to win.
Well, okay, like if we win the competition, let's say for instance, then
I think you are.
well, and it's us obviously. I think. Like I think it's a very competitive top like 5 or 6 teams, especially like top like 5 or 6. Yeah, I think realistically anyone could win. I'd like to think we would win, but
No, say it from your chest. Who's going to win?
obviously we're gonna win. Like it's between us and
Man,
probably
you
like
seem so
us.
depressed saying it.
Because
Say
Oh,
I'm,
okay.
I'm,
Excitable.
I'm upset that we aren't a full team right now, bro. We can't practice. I can't,
Yeah,
I'm not
feel, bro.
happy.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
but
We'll try and get that sorted afterwards. We'll get somebody in towards those scrims. Not me, because we don't talk about those days. But I believe that should be mostly it. For me, who do I believe is going to win? I will leave it because I should be on towards the next cast, the CWL. So if you are excited to hear my opinion, which of course you should be, I'll be over there. I believe we should be starting CWO back up this weekend. It's either going to be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Those are the usual times. If you're ever curious, of course, you can look over towards either Twitter, the Discord, which if you're here, you must know about. In towards the Discord there. Massive thanks towards Logic because for everybody who doesn't know, everything that does go behind the scenes, crewman, Logic, all the casters, all the players, everybody puts in a lot of effort for no money. And it is one of the best leagues, of course, Caster UK out NLC Division 2. There's a different vibe around the CWL, so it's super excited to be here. But except for that, that is going to be it for the Revel Lynx. I mean, round 2 predictions, I guess. We'll have a round 3 predictions next week. So we'll see you guys in a little bit and have a good day.
Bye bye.
why?
bye.